Right, welcome to the Simon Show, lads and lasses. How are we all doing today? Today we've got a topic that I feel like many of us are underestimating. It's not something that happened today. In fact, it's not really an update. It's just a question that us Roma fans need to reflect on. Because, one of the most important things for a manager is to give minutes in the players' legs to kind of every single player. Obviously, there will be players that Mourinho loves the most and the players that Mourinho loves the least, but that's just normal, that's just normal football. But, we haven't seen much of Diawara and Villar up to now. We've got a big match on Sunday, and I really don't think they will start on Sunday as well. But I think there's a reason behind that, because I think Diawara and Villar have potentials, but obviously Mourinho doesn't like these potentials, doesn't like their way of playing. So today's topic is a topic which, rather than me giving you guys updates, it's more us all together kind of reflecting on what will be Diawara and Villar's future. By the way, lads, my lips are absolutely on flames. So if I don't move my mouth a lot, I'm a normal kid. I'm a normal person. It's just that if my lips go like that, you'll see blood everywhere. So just bear that in mind. But it's a big topic. It's a big topic which doesn't, in my opinion, Roma fans don't focus on it quite a lot. And it's something which, it's curious to know why Mourinho doesn't really like them. Because with Fonseca, Villar was a key player when Cristante wasn't performing well. Villar, obviously, if you compare Fonseca's way of playing to Mourinho's way of playing, there are differences. Mourinho is way more aggressive. He wants those two defensive midfielder players, which are as aggressive as a hyena. So that's obviously a reason for it. But I think, up to now, what they've shown us with Mourinho, we can't really judge it because they barely played any matches. In fact, both Villar and Diawara started just once, excluding friendly matches during this summer. Diawara and Villar started once, and it was in the Europa Conference League against CSKA Sofia. So what we're getting right now, as an output of Jose Mourinho, is that these two players are two players which, if they play, they're going to play in the Europa Conference League. And we understood that, right? They're not key players. Especially now that Darboe is growing, Veretout is untouchable, Zakaria rumors in January. I strongly believe that Diawara and Villar need to find and seek a way out of AS Roma. Not because they hate AS Roma, but because I think it can ruin their career. Not playing can ruin their career. And then, big moves cannot happen anymore. So, as much as, we want to keep everyone, Villar is a very young lad, incredible potentials in my opinion. Diawara is a young lad, could improve even more. There are certain moments where we gotta say goodbye because there are now many options Mourinho has in the defensive midfielder section. Veretout is untouchable. Cristante is untouchable according to Mourinho. Darboe is growing more and more and more. Zakaria is set to come in January, and we'll spend 5 minutes talking about Zakaria as well because we've got news on Zakaria today as well. And we've got Mancini, the defender, who Fonseca has also played as a defensive midfielder section. So in worst cases, if all of these players get injured, Mancini is a backup option. So Diawara and Villar are excluded, and they need to find a way out of Rome for the best of their career, because otherwise, there will be serious problems for them to actually find a team because, players actually realize that they're not good enough. How much teams need to pay for Villar, the cost for Villar and Diawara will drop, which will then be a problem for Roma when it comes to financial problems. It's all of a jumble, which at the end of the day is a negative jumble rather than a positive jumble. So I think, even not just for Diawara and Villar's sake, not just for their own personal interests, I think Roma need to try, if Mourinho is making it clear that Diawara and Villar are out of his project or out of his plan, then Roma need to try and sell them now. And I mean ASAP, as soon as possible in January. Because, if they don't perform and Roma waits on to selling them, the cost will drop. And that means that it will be a tremendous deal because Roma bought these players for more than what they sold them. So it's something Roma need to reflect on as well. But up to now, we're getting the impression that Mourinho doesn't like these two players. Villar is definitely not a prototype player for Mourinho. He's not aggressive, Diawara needs to try and improve, and in my opinion, out of the two, he can be the more aggressive one. But Villar only plays with the ball, loves them touches, launches the ball, long passes. That's Villar. His idol, we can say, is Luka Modric. They have similar ways of playing. So, in my opinion, Villar should, if he has to be played, he should be played not in a defensive midfielder section because I don't think he's a defensive midfielder. He's not aggressive. He won't slide tackle. I would much rather see Villar play instead of Pellegrini for a match because that position is the exact position where Villar can boost all of his potentials. I think what the managers are getting wrong right now is the position where Villar is playing. And I'm not criticizing anyone here because obviously, once again, Mourinho is asking for time. But at the same time, I do think that if Mourinho tries and plays Villar in the attacking midfielder section, it will be a revolutionary. I'll tell you this. Diawara, on the other hand, if he improves, if he becomes more aggressive, he can have those minutes in his legs. But up to now, there are players which, are boasting in front of Diawara because they're way more aggressive and therefore Mourinho is choosing them instead of him. So it's all a matter of surprising and impressing. If these, we've got the rest of October, November, December, and then the transfer market starts. In these 2 months and a half, which are very important for some players, these two players, Carles Perez as well, these 2 months and a half are extremely important for their own personal interests and for their own football career. Because if they start performing well, Mourinho will reinsert them in the squad, and I'll tell you that. Because it doesn't take that much time. It doesn't take that much fitness to beat Cristante in his speeds or in his tackles. Cristante has one out of those 3 days where he's an absolute masterclass of a player. But those other 2 days, he's absolutely shit. So if Cristante doesn't perform, if Cristante keeps on bottling matches, get him out right now. And it won't take that amount of time and that amount of effort to be better than Cristante. And that's something Diawara and Villar need to know. Because, in my opinion, they're not secure of themselves. They're not confident enough. In football, you need to be confident. They need to understand that there is no big difference between Diawara and Cristante. In fact, it could be argued that Diawara is even more tactical, is even more physical than Cristante. He just needs to process this in his mind. Obviously, Mourinho prefers Cristante, if you ask me. Mourinho loves Cristante, and we know this. We know it, So, Mourinho does prefer Cristante, but this doesn't mean that Mourinho will always start Cristante. Look at these last few matches. Who has started? Ebrima Darboy, an absolute bowler. Mourinho loves Cristante, right? Mourinho does love Cristante. Mourinho will die for Cristante. However, Mourinho is not addicted on Cristante. If Cristante stops performing, if Cristante doesn't perform well and bottles every match, Mourinho will realize that he will no longer love Cristante. And that is where Diawara can boast. Obviously, Diawara and Villar right now, to be fair, are hoping for a massive injury. Hopefully not. But they are hoping for a massive injury in the defensive midfielder section. That's what they hope. They won't tell anyone, but, we all know that's what they hope. And, injuries is another thing. Roma is a club with many injury-prone players, right? So, if Verratti will get injured, if Darboy will get injured, and Cristante stops performing, that's another chance for Diawara. So, I think in these 2 months and a half, it's very, very important for these two players to perform in training sessions. Perform in training sessions. Impress Mourinho in training sessions. Because I'm telling you, it does not take that amount of time and effort and fitness, to be fair, to be better than Cristante. In fact, you know what? I don't even play. I play football. I don't do football as an extracurricular activity. I love playing football with my friends. And I can assure you that if Mourinho will put me in the defensive midfield section, I can run more than Cristante. And that's a statement, right? I suck at football. Do I suck? I'm okay at football. I'm not the best. I'm not the worst. But one thing is done. I can run more than Cristante, and that's for sure. I do athletics. Take that, Cristante. So that's it. That's the situation. Now, the 12th of October 2021, if someone is asking me, will Diawara and Villar, be sold in January, I'm gonna say that there's a 70% chance of a yes and a 30% chance of a no. However, that 30% chance can revolt. It can easily become, and I mean easily become a 70% chance that Diawara will stay and a 30% chance that he will go. So in these 2 months and a half, it's very important for these two players to psychologically, physically be ready for every single training session. Even more important than the football matches. Because from those training sessions, that's where Mourinho understands the players which perform well and the players which are not putting effort in their career. That's it. That's a message for Diawara and Villar. Diawara and Villar, if you're watching this, pay attention and be concentrated in training sessions. Or otherwise, unfortunately for us, unfortunately, we love Diawara and Villar, but it will have to be a goodbye otherwise. Because, it links to the economic issues that this club has. They're not Newcastle. They're not PSG. They're not Man City. So, all of these wages of players which barely play are a stone on Roma's economy. So, if Diawara and Villar don't perform, if Diawara and Villar are out of Mourinho's project after a few tries, that's it. They need to go away. Because it's a good economic pressure on Roma's, budget. It's very, very important. This is something key. Roma need to be very, very careful on balancing their budgets and their economic, how much money they spend, how much money they get back. It's very important for a club like Roma. So, speaking about, obviously, another reason of why Diawara and Villar might leave in January is that I think in January, journalists and many people out there are saying that Zakaria will be a new Roma player. Now, I've never seen so many articles saying this, but it is the reality. So, if Zakaria comes in January, that's another player and that's another position where, Diawara and Villar will both not have enough time and minutes in their legs. And if Zakaria plays, I can definitely see a Zakaria Veretout midfielder and Darboe being a reserve and Cristante being a reserve. But then it means that the reserves of the reserves would be Diawara and Villar. But when do the reserves of the reserves ever play? And that's another thing Roma need to pay attention on. They buy a new defensive midfielder, they sell one. Because, we don't need Diawara if we buy Zakaria, fairly speaking. So, speaking about Zakaria, we've got some good old news today. Because Roma have officially presented their bid to Borussia Mönchengladbach. Obviously, if they accept it, everything will be done in January under the transfer market window. But Roma have made it clear, obviously, that they're interested in Zakaria. They're putting pressure on him, his agents, and Borussia Mönchengladbach. And today, Thiago Pinto has given us an idea of what the bid will look like. Roma will spend, considering the fact that Zakaria's cost will drop because he's not renewing it. He doesn't want to renew his contract, and his contract ends in 2022. His cost drops, and that's a bonus for Roma because Roma would like, up to now, Zakaria's cost would be around 10 to 15 million, which I think is not that much. Taking into consideration the fact that he's not going to renew his contract, and he said this himself, he's not interested in renewing his contract, and he wants a new opportunity, and that Roma or have made it clear that they want him. Zakaria's cost will drop, and Roma and Borussia Mönchengladbach want to find an agreement on Zakaria, and Roma will pay around 5 to 6 million euros. That's even better. That's an absolute bargain. However, 5 and 6 million euros to Borussia Mönchengladbach, and then if another club buys Zakaria from Roma, Roma and this other club will find an agreement to give like 20-30% of the money of that offer to Borussia Mönchengladbach. So it's all a jumble of economic factors. It's all a jumble of bids. But the most important thing to note is that Roma would like and want to find an agreement with Borussia Mönchengladbach to buy Zakaria at around 5 to 6 million euros. And if you ask me, that's an absolute bargain. For someone like Zakaria, who, yes, might be injured many times, but is very, very young. I've seen the match against Switzerland and he's an absolute bowler. He runs everywhere, way more than Cristante. He bags those assists and those goals, and his age isn't that old. So, it's an absolute bargain for Zakaria to come at this price. If, obviously, he will come. There are other clubs interested. Let's focus on that as well. Napoli is interested in the Serie A. Arsenal are interested in the Premier League. And I bet you many, many other top clubs will be focusing on Zakaria now that his contract expires in 2022. So lads, it was a quick live stream all about the midfielder section topic. All about, all about that duo in the defensive midfielder, which can act as a wall, but to act as a wall, it needs to have those good old solid bricks. And in this case, I'd say the two solid bricks are Darboe and Veretout. Right, let's read some comments, shall we? Simply, there are two midfielder roles in Jose's 4-2-3-1. One trequartista, defensive midfielder, Pellegrini, Mkhitaryan, Zaniolo. Villar, Veretout, Cristante, Darboe, and Diawara is the fourth choice. Diawara out, in my opinion, in January, not aggressive. Definitely defensively enough, but I think Villar has a future. That's exactly what I think. Villar has incredible potentials. If he can just transform those potentials into reality in front of Jose Mourinho's eyes, I expect Villar to play quite a lot. Darboe is top, great performances the last two games. I would continue starting Darboe alongside Veretout until Zakaria comes. And it'll be very interesting to see if Darboe will start on Sunday in such a match with such a big rivalry, such a big pressure on him. We'll see. Also, speaking about Sunday's match, Roma have sold out the away sector of seats in the Juventus Stadium, in the Allianz Stadium. That's great. That means that the fans want to be close to Mourinho and the squads. It's another positive factor when it comes to economic as well, and when it comes to just the mental health of the team as well. Villar did play Trequartista versus Zorya Lugansk. That's right, it doesn't take that much time to outperform Cristante. Simon, these things do happen in management. Every manager signs and picks players based on their coaching philosophies. You can't expect Jose to play 100% of the players he met. Yeah, definitely that. Diawara has to worry about Darboe, not Cristante, and Villar is bench player behind Pellegrini. Simon, thoughts on Newcastle takeover? Interesting topic. I think it's good for the Premier League in a way. It's not the best when it comes to selfishness of a club, because Newcastle can hypothetically buy anyone right now. However, they've got the financial fair play to pay attention at, and I do expect the EFL, the Premier League, putting pressure on them to not overcome that financial fair play, because otherwise it'll be mayhem. So it's very interesting to see such an owner, such a rich businessman buy a club like Newcastle, which is great. It's such an historical club, and it gives us an opportunity to small clubs like Newcastle in the Premier League, but with such a history behind, to be at the same levels now as new clubs like Manchester City with fake football fans. The real football fans in the Premier League are Newcastle fans rather than Manchester City fans, that's for sure, right? So it's a good opportunity for these clubs to be at the same levels of these top clubs. I don't really think Zakaria is the best fit, but he's a great bowler. Lorenzo P, hello mate, how are you? Under the same sun. What a romantic name. Hello, mate. Man City got away with it just like PSG. Yeah, it's absolute bullshit. So, lads, that's it from me. It's a quick live stream talking about the midfielder section. All about Diawara, Villar, Zakaria. If you're new here, please subscribe. Now, lads, listen to this real quick. If you've been following the Simon Show for quite a long while, you know that I've got a great passion for travel. And I have created a second channel which will never influence the Simon Show. The Simon Show will keep on doing daily Roma updates. I'm at school. I can't travel vlog every time. But anytime I go on a holiday, I will document it. Subscribe. It's a link down below in the description. And subscribe to the travel channel. It means so much to me. Please, 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 please subscribe. It's called Simon That's Me. Down below in the description. Click and subscribe and share with your friends. And it will be absolutely amazing. Let's try and get 100 subscribers on that channel by the end of October. It will be absolutely amazing. Right, I'll catch you tomorrow. We're starting to lead up to the big match on Sunday. All eyes on that. It will be a very interesting match. I'll catch you tomorrow. Follow me on Instagram as well. I'll lower score the Silent Show, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Maybe with Alex, who knows, but definitely with another update. Yeah, good night, take care, and Simon out.